guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're doing something a little bit different. So today, January 17th, is my birthday. I am turning 30 today. I know. So this video has been pre-recorded. As you guys are watching this, I am getting a massage and a facial in real life. I know. So I thought that for today's video, I could do like a get ready with me birthday look and also do something called 30 things I learned at 30. I saw Jenna Marbles do this a couple years ago when she turned 30, and she just talked about some life things she learned in her 30 years. Some of you may not know this, but Jenna Marbles is one of my all-time favorite YouTubers. I have a lot of YouTubers that I really like. But if I could only choose one YouTuber to watch for the rest of my life, it would probably be Jenna Marbles. Like, I've been watching her since her first video came out, you know, how to trick people into thinking you're good looking. I was still in college at the time, and I think she was in college at the same time too. And I've always just felt like a connection to her somehow. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, we live in totally different parts of the world, we have totally different lifestyles, but I don't know, for some reason I just really always connected with her. I always have watched her videos, I've always subscribed and liked and commented, etc. And so when she did that video, 30 things I learned at 30, I was like, that's a great idea for a video. So for today, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a get ready, chatty birthday look, get ready with me. And I have a list here of some 30 things I learned at 30, so I will just, you know, peruse through and let you guys know what I think. I'm gonna keep it on the side here, so every now and then if I'm just kind of like looking over to the side, just reading my notes. Also, during this video, I might not describe in great detail every single product that I'm using, but I will, as always, leave a list in the description box down below with every product that I use. So if you guys have any questions about what I use, go check down there. So before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can know when I post a new video. So let's just go ahead and start this birthday get ready with me, 30 things I learned at 30. Also, it's still morning here, so I have my cup of coffee. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my birthday, and I love going to the spa, so I was like, I might as well just like take myself to the spa on the actual day of my birthday and just get massaged and relax and, you know, all that fun stuff. So I went ahead and primed and filled in my eyebrows beforehand. Anyone who can do their brows on camera or on iPhone when they're doing a video, honestly, like, my hat goes off to you, because that is not something that I managed to do very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my Chanel Candeur Experience palette. I'm gonna go into the first shade here, and I'm gonna use this as a transition shade. Let me know down in the comments when your birthdays are and what you guys like to do for your birthdays. You don't have to tell me your age if you don't want to. So I think the first thing that I learned at 30 is it's important to give credit where credit is due. Like, you will never lose credit if you give someone credit. Like, if you say, I saw this video, I thought it was amazing, it totally inspired me to do the same thing. I saw this look on Instagram, the makeup looked flawless, I can't wait to do it myself. Like, if you just like put that in the description, or if you put that in the title or in the video, I honestly think that like that's fantastic, and you will never lose credit. Like, no one's gonna look at you sideways because you specifically said that someone inspired you to do something. When you see someone's video or photo and you just like do the exact same thing, like the exact same makeup look, the exact same video, the exact same everything, and you don't give the person credit, that's really shitty. Like, it's 2018. It's really hard to come up with something completely new and creative and authentic. And it's pretty easy to find things on the internet. So when people don't give credit, it comes out really quickly. And I don't know why people do that. I'm not saying that makes it worse. It's like when you're writing an essay in the university, you always cite your sources. You cite all of your sources, because otherwise it's plagiarism. So the next thing I learned at 30 is that jerks are jerks. Like, like, some people in this world go around telling everyone off. Today they're gonna yell at you and call you names and be mean and be terrible, etc, etc, etc. Yesterday it was the mailman. The week before it was the coffee shop girl. Tomorrow it's gonna be the neighbor. The week after that it'll be the guy working at the restaurant. People like this exist in the world, and it's sad and it's unfortunate. So if ever you get stuck in their like crazy and they start targeting you, don't take it personal, because they literally do that to everyone. And it sucks because it feels very personal when it's happening to you, but just try to move on, because like I said, today it's you, tomorrow it'll be the cat or the dog or the neighbor or the bird or the air or whatever. There's always someone they're gonna scream at. So don't try to take it personal when a jerk acts like a jerk. Some of the things I'm gonna talk about today are probably things you have heard before, but they're just things that have really resonated with me and just have made like an impact on my life. So another thing that I've learned at 30 is that you have a right to say no. Like, you can just say no to people. Like, if someone's like, oh, can you do this? Can I get this? Can I get that? You can say no. And saying no doesn't make you a bad person. I know we're programmed to think that saying no to people is mean, or like saying no is like not that nice, we have to be always nice and accommodating, but like you can just say no. Saying no does not make you a bad person. If someone makes you feel guilty or makes you feel bad for saying no to them, they're the asshole, not you. So another thing I learned at 30 is that saying no is a complete sentence. We get stuck in this trap of having to defend ourselves and give layers of explanation. Oh no, like I'm really sorry, I really can't, it's really, I don't know if I can, I don't have the time, it's just really inconvenient, it's just like a hard time for me. We keep building and building up, it's like, you can just say no, like just no is like a complete sentence. And again, if the person is asking you to do something or asking something from you and they get mad at you or make you feel bad for saying no to them, they're the jerk in the situation, not you. Now I'm going into the darker shade here. So something else that's important to remember, and it's also, you know, cliche, we've heard it before, but people who talk about everyone, talk about everyone. So I'm talking about people who gossip about other people. If you know someone who gossips about everyone in their life, I can guarantee that the second you're not around, they're gossiping about you. That's how it works. You know, if you know every single detail and every single secret of every person in their life, I can guarantee the second you leave, guess who's the topic of conversation? Just going in with a clean blending brush. So another thing I learned at 30 is that you have to find something in life that gives you joy. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's makeup, if it's fixing cars, if it's doing research on the Napoleonic Wars. It doesn't matter what it is. You just have to find that something that gives you passion, that gives you that spark, that like really just makes you passionate about life. You just have to find that thing. Some people it's volunteer work, some people it's dogs, some people it's their family, whatever it is. So just find that thing that gives you joy in life, and don't let other people discourage you from doing it, because they're not living your life, you are. I'm actually going to use the new Neuf Ombre palette from Chanel just because the mirror is bigger, because I'm using this small eyeshadow quad here, but the mirror is so small, like this is so much better. Something else that I learned at 30 is that, you know, in life, you'll encounter lots of different people, and sometimes you'll meet people who have a lot of issues or who have problems in their life. And this is something that's hard for me to, it's easy for me to say, but it's not always hard for me to, you know, practice. But it's not always your job to fix people. Sometimes people come into your life, friends, family, relationship, whatever, and they seem to have a lot of issues, and you feel bad for them and you empathize with them and you see what they're doing and you think, I could help them do this, I could help them do that. It's not always your job to fix them. So the next thing I learned at 30 is something that is, again, easy to say but harder to practice, and it's again another quote from Maya Angelou, and maybe some people think it's cheesy, but I think it's really good. It's something to the effect of, when someone shows you their true colors, believe them. That's something that's hard for me to do sometimes when I meet someone and I like them or I have feelings for them, like with a friend or family, whatever. You know, you always want to assume the best of the person and you always want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But if the person is always doing the exact same shitty thing over and over again, I mean, you gotta believe them when they're telling you, hey, I'm a jerk. After a certain point, you're kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you figure this one out. It's not my job to fix you, like I said, and you've told me over and over again who you really are, so I'm gonna step back and let you be. Another important thing that I learned at 30 is, if the same thing keeps happening to you, if the same relationship patterns keep happening to you, you have an influence on what's happening. It does happen that people meet terrible people and they have terrible relationships, but if you see the same relationship patterns in your family, in your friend circle, in your relationships, in your coworkers, etc., etc., if it's always the same toxic people in your life, unfortunately, you're the one making some of these decisions. So it's really hard, but at some point you have to look into yourself and figure out what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're searching for, and try to fix that. Because, you know, if you're meeting the exact same personality in every circle of your life, then that's you searching for that, unfortunately. Because ultimately, you are the only one who has the power to change what's happening in your life. So another thing that I learned at 30 is that traveling abroad is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. You know, I understand that being able to travel is a privilege and not everyone can do that, not everyone can afford that. It's not something that, you know, I'm not crazy. I'm not just like, oh, well, everyone should just go on trips abroad, blah, blah, blah. I understand this, but I'm talking about if someone's in university, someone's in school, someone's young and they're not married, they don't have any kids, they don't have a mortgage, and they're in a position where they can go travel abroad for 6 months. do it. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. Trust me, it's the best thing you'll ever do for yourself. Just trust me on that. And also, if you are trying to learn a language, traveling to the country where that language is spoken is probably the best way you'll be able to learn. While we're on the topic of new experiences, new cultures, try new foods. You know, I'm quite interesting because I love junk food, I love bar food, things like that, but I also love trying new things. And one of my favorite foods in the world is Korean food. And I would have never known that I love Korean food if I had never tried it. And I know it can be off-putting sometimes, like I have no idea what's in this food, what's that smell, what is this, what's this texture, but just try something different. Okay, so another tip that I learned at 30 is wear SPF. Wear sunscreen, wear SPF, not just when you're going to go bake in the sun, every day. I've been wearing sunscreen every day now for about a year or two, and as you I don't have any, I have like eye makeup, but I don't have like anything on my face. I am 30 now, I'm pre-filming this, but like I'll be 30 in like a couple days. So I mean, I don't have that many wrinkles, I don't have that many age spots. Wear sunscreen. Obviously, skin cancer is a very, very serious illness. It can kill you, it can damage your appearance, it can damage your life. But you know, if health is not a concern for you, at least think of it from a purely physical aspect. The sun is very drying, it causes like advanced aging, it causes like age spots, all of those like unpleasant things. So just wear sunscreen. While we're on the topic of sunscreen, take care of your skin. Wash your face. If you are wearing makeup every day, you have to wash your face at night. You cannot go to bed with makeup on. I'm sorry, I know some people say try to wash it off, if it's okay if you wear it every now and then. Girls, it doesn't take that long. It doesn't matter how drunk you are, how tired you are, just wash your face. I mean, in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, you will definitely appreciate the work you put in. It doesn't take that long. Get some makeup wipes, whatever you do, just wash your skin, wash your face, take care of your skin. You only have one face. So another thing I learned at 30 is that, you know, we spend a lot of time focusing on romantic relationships and looking at those and wondering if those are healthy or not. But the first relationships we have in our lives are our family relationships. So before you look outwards in your friends and romantic circles, you really need to look at your inner circle, your family circle, because if there's a lot of dysfunction there, if there's a lot of toxic people there, then it's quite likely that you are going to go look for that elsewhere. So you need to really look inwards first and evaluate what's going on in your inner circle and then move outwards. I'm just taking a little tapered brush and taking that brown shade from the Chanel Tissé, what is it called? Condor Experience, yeah, that one. And I'm gonna place it under my lashes here. So another thing that I learned at 30 is that, I think this is something that I read in The Great Gatsby, but it's something to the effect of not everyone in life has had the same experiences or privileges as you. And so it's easy for us to judge other people and think, well, you know, I went through this and I did this instead. I went through something much worse and I got to this point, etc., etc. Because sometimes you can see someone who has gone through what you think is not as bad as what you've gone through, and they don't seem to have their life together. But you don't know what else they've gone through in their life. You don't know what their everyday is like. So let's just all try to be a little bit more compassionate and understanding in 2018. On this topic, another thing I learned at 30 is that no matter how horrible you think your day is going or how horrible you think your situation is, I can guarantee you there's almost always someone like on the bus with you, in line at the grocery store, in line at the bank, etc., who's having a much worse day or who has a much worse situation than you. It's not to invalidate your feelings or your emotions or what's happening to you. It's just to keep things in perspective. So while we're on this subject, another thing that I learned at 30 is that we are much more resilient than we think. Sometimes we go through something and we think it is the end of the world, it is the worst thing that's ever happened to us, we will never recover, never survive, this is the end of the end. And then 5 years later, you look back, you're like, yeah, that was pretty tough. I thought that was pretty tough, but turns out I survived, I thrived, and now I'm here. So just keep that in mind. So something else that I learned at 30 that is, again, a saying that you hear all the time and is very cliche, but it's that you cannot live your life to please others. This is something that I have done, I have tried to do. I have put myself in situations where I would jump through hoops, through flaming hoops that are like 10 feet tall and do acrobats and do splits and do etc, etc. And then once you finish going through all the hoops, the person's like, well, that was great, but what about the hoop next door? Do whatever makes you happy, because they are not living your life, you are living your life. So when I said before about SPF and how like you only have one face, so you have to take care of it, you also only have one life. So if you're living it to please other people, you're gonna be pretty miserable in a couple decades. So I'm going into this Buxom single eyeshadow in the color called No Faux. So I find that this shadow applies best with the finger, so I'm gonna use my pinky and just apply this on the middle here. I've tried applying it with a brush and even like with Fix Plus, but it doesn't really work that well. So something else that I learned at 30 is that we all have limitations. So if I decided that tomorrow I want to be a basketball player and I trained like 20 hours a week, I still probably wouldn't be that great. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having limitations. And there's nothing wrong with other people having limitations either. I'm just blending this out a little bit. So something else that I learned at 30 is that abuse never equals love. It doesn't matter if it's family, friends, romantic, whatever it may be. Abuse never equals love. And if you are in any relationship with someone and they are not treating you well, you have every right to pack up and leave, regardless of the situation. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you deserve it or that you have to put up with it. You don't. If no one else is telling you this, let me be the one to tell you that you deserve better. So now I'm going to use a black waterproof liner and I'm going to tight line my eye and also put it on the bottom waterline. Yeah, waterline. So something else that I learned at 30 is that you have the choice and you have the power of choosing your circle. We talk about family a lot, but family can be chosen family. It doesn't always have to be people you have similar DNA with. You know, your family can be your friends, it can be your coworkers, it can be the people you choose. At a certain point in life, you get to choose your circle. No matter what people are telling you, you can choose the circle around you. So something else that I learned at 30 that I still have a really, really hard time accepting is that sometimes the world isn't fair. And that really sucks. And I wish there was a better way of saying that or to tell you, but sometimes the world is just not a fair place. And I try to put things in perspective because sometimes things feel very unfair and very unjust, but I try to put things in perspective because there are people in this world who don't have access to internet. There are people in this world who don't have access to clean drinking water. There are people in this world who don't have a roof over their head or food in their stomach or clothes on their back. So I'm going in with the Dior Pump and Volume Mascara, and it's not to like devalue anyone's problems or anyone's pain. I guess it's just to help myself put things in perspective and to help me be more appreciative of what I have. I hope you guys can understand. Okay, I'm gonna wait to put the bottom mascara until I finish doing my face makeup. So this eyeshadow is really beautiful. It's like kind of iridescent. Like I find like the color kind of changes depending on the light. However, it's very loose and like there's a lot of fallout. So when I wear this, I always try to do my eyes first, otherwise it's just like a mess underneath. So something else that I've learned, or I'm trying to learn, is that it isn't always my place to give someone their karma. Like I mentioned before, sometimes the world can be unfair, sometimes people can be jerks. I have a very strong sense of like inner justice. I'm like, why can't everyone see what a horrible person this person is? Like, how can I be the only one noticing this? But it's not my job to give them their karma. You know, I think this person living their life being a jerk is probably their karma in itself. So something that I've learned is that when you try to give someone their karma, it's like, you know, if you're trying to tar and feather someone and, you know, have everyone know how horrible they are and be like, oh, see, they're so bad, blah, blah, blah. If you do that, some of that tar and feather gets on you too. Okay, now we're moving on to face. I'm going to start off with the NYX color correcting palette here. So something else that I learned at 30 that's important is that you need to surround yourself with people who make you feel good. That's it. It's not that complicated. Just people who make you feel good about yourself or good about your life choices. Something else that I learned that's important is that you will meet a lot of people in your life. They're not always meant to be there for a long time. Some people, you're gonna meet them at school or at work or on the bus or whatever. You're gonna see them a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple days, whatever. Not everyone who comes into your life is going to be there forever, and that's okay. Something else that I learned at 30 is that if someone doesn't want to be your friend, let them not be your friend. Like if you are always chasing after someone to see you if you ask them to do something and they're always busy, but they're posting photos or videos with other people. If you're just always the one putting effort into the friendship, it sucks, but you need to just let go and move on, because you deserve better than that. You are an amazing person. You are smart, you are funny, you are interesting. You will find other people who want to spend time with you. Let that person go. So I'm going in with this L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation, and I'm going to use a beauty blender to blend that out. Something else that I learned that is also a cheesy quote from probably Hallmark or something, but it's something to the effect of, you could be like the juiciest, ripest, tastiest peach on the planet, and there will always be someone who hates peaches. So that being said, there will always be someone who dislikes you, no matter what you do. And that circles back to not living your life for other people. Because no matter what you do, for certain people, it will literally never be enough. So go be a peach, go be a pineapple, go be whatever you want. Keep in mind, there will always be someone who dislikes peaches or pears or pineapples or whatever you're gonna be. But don't let that person stop you from being what you wanna be. Because if you're a peach today, they'll hate peaches. If you're a pineapple tomorrow, they'll hate pineapple. So just be the fruit salad you want to be. I have a little bit left of the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. I am really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this one. Like I literally, that like little lip that keeps the product in, I actually ripped that off with a set of pliers. I really just need to buy a new tube of concealer. So something else that I learned at 30 is that it sounds cheesy, but you need to set boundaries with yourself, because we often talk about setting boundaries with other people, setting boundaries with this, setting boundaries with that. But the problem is, some people will never respect your boundaries, whatever they are. So if you are in a position where you keep having to reset your boundaries with that person, and they keep just like plowing through the boundaries because whatever reason, at some point you have to set your own boundaries, because they're not respecting them. And so you have to be the one to say, you know what, every time I see this person, they're always mean to me. They're always telling me I'm not doing good. They're always telling me this. They're always telling me that. Why are you putting yourself in a situation where you are exposing yourself to that? But if you're in a situation where the same person is always doing the exact same thing, this is circling back to some of the stuff we talked about earlier, but if they're showing you their true colors over and over again, and if you're finding yourself in the same situation over and over again, at some point you have to be the one to make the decision and to set your own boundaries and decide what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. So I'm going in with the Amazonian Clay Smooth Operator setting powder here. Then I'm going into my Collie Star bronzer number 4, and I'm going to bronze up my face. So another important thing I learned at 30 is that don't listen to the naysayers, the people who tell you you can't do something, you shouldn't do something. You can never do that. You can never accomplish that. What are you talking about? Like, tell those people to shut up. They don't know what they're talking about. They're not living your life. You're living your life. Do, like I said before, like do whatever makes you happy. Be with whoever makes you happy. If your passion in life is snails and Australia, I don't know, go study snails in Australia, whatever your jam is, You can't live your life listening to other people, because like I mentioned before, they're not living your life, you are. Don't let other people's negativity dictate your choices in life and your habits and your interests, because more often than not when people are talking about this, they're projecting their own insecurities and their own shortcomings. So if they're telling you, oh, you can't go there, you can't do that, you can't like travel the world, what do they know? They only know their life and their experience. Like maybe they're not able to handle that, maybe they can't accomplish those things, but you can. The next time someone's being negative and telling you you can't do this or can't do that or shouldn't do this, just go up to them and be like, shh, okay? Trust me, just shh, okay? Now I'm going into the MAC Style Blush. For the highlight, I'm going into my MAC Beaming Blush Highlight. This is like my all-time favorite highlight. And I'm taking a little bit of this and putting it in the inner corner here. I think I went a little bit overboard with the highlight. Oh well. So to finish off the look, I'm going into this Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in the color called Patina. If I counted correctly, I gave you 29 things I learned at 30. So the last one, let me just double check. So the last one, if I miscounted, let me know. The last one is something that's very important, and it's also something that I need to remind myself of constantly, is that there is a middle place between 0 and 100. I'm someone who lives in kind of the extremes. I'm very much a perfectionist. I'm very hard on myself. I kind of expect myself to do absolutely the best at everything I do. And so when I do something that I don't think is good enough, I am very, very hard on myself. And so I need to learn to live somewhere in the middle. Like, it doesn't have to be 0 or 100. It doesn't have to be black or white. It can be somewhere in the middle. It can be gray. And this is something that is very new. And I think that a lot of people probably do this as well. I think we're all very hard on ourselves. I think we all have a very harsh inner critic. And I think this is something we can all work on. I think if we learn to be kinder to ourselves, we can learn to be kinder to other people. So I think this is all I have for you guys for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit different than anything else I've done, but it's my birthday, so I wanted to do this video. I have a little bit of coffee left. So I think this is all I have for you guys for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed this Get Ready With Me 30 Things I Learned at 30. I hope that, you know, you got to learn a little bit about me as a person, and, you know, we got to be a little bit closer. If you have something that you have come to realize in your years on this earth, whatever nugget of wisdom it may be, if it's serious, if it's funny, if it's random, just let us know down in the comments what is something that you have come to realize with all of your years on this earth. So thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. It means a lot to me, especially videos like these. They're a little bit different, they're a little bit more personal. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I think that's all I have for you guys for today. Friday's video will be back to normal and it will be more beauty related. So thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.